James Graham, who does qualify for a golden cap, which is a controversial subject on this programme. He's reached 50, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's announced his retirement from International Rugby League, which is kind of, because of everything else that's gone on, I forgot about it on Friday, and I've only just remembered it because I've looked in Scully's column this week. But speaking of non-golden capped international players, get that rest of the world game back in. But James Graham, international retirement, and a great player for England, Great Britain, and whichever shirt he's worn in his whole career.
Yeah, he is. He has been a great player from sort of year one, year two at St Helens. He's been sort of that level. He's always been good. Then he went to great. Then in the NRL, there was a lot of expectation on him, and he lived up to them and went beyond the expectations of him. And even now he's come back to St Helens, everyone thought, it'd just be a retirement thing, like one last hurrah. He'll just sort of see it out generally. But there's none of that. I mean, being at games now, you can actually hear him talking. You can hear what he's saying, like passing on his experience to the likes of Matty Lees during the games. Like, you don't do that, you do that, you do it this way. Like that. What he's doing for St Helens is invaluable at the minute.
I think the phrase that was used a lot at the beginning of the professional era was channeled aggression, and to me, he's always been the absolute epitome of that. That tough as you'd like, not the kind of bloke you'd ever want to stand in the way of, but always did it in such a way that his team were never penalised really because of it. He feisty redhead, didn't mind getting his point across to a match official, but always seemed to be on the right side of the law, and impossible to play against when you're that aggressive. But everything you're doing is virtually everything you're doing. I do remember one rather notorious incident in the NRL that he was punished for, but just about always on the right side of the law. And a joy to watch. The sort of guy who, if you're a follower of an opposing team, you'd always want him in your ranks.
Just sort of a glimpse as to what James Graham done. Look at how Alex Walmsley's done since James Graham came back. I mean, Alex has sort of kicked on to another level again, hasn't he? Since James Graham come back. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't be having a bet on Wakefield versus St Helens, but if I would, I'd be backing him to score the first try because he seems to do it every week these days. He does. Nightmare for prop forwards. But just back on to James Graham, and you mentioned his stellar career in the NRL. There are no prop forwards in the British Rugby League Hall of Fame. I know there are a few who've just retired who are probably going to be coming into the conversation, but when the time comes for James Graham, could he be the first prop forward into the British Rugby League Hall of Fame? I'd certainly have him in the running for it.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because he's not just like doing it for 2 or 3 years, he's doing it for 10, 15 years on both sides of the world and at international level as well.
I think you'd find that he's one of the most respected names amongst Australians. So he's up there with Adrian Morley and Gareth Ellis as probably some of the finest imports that we've sent out there in the modern era. Clearly, people like Malcolm Reilly and Mike Stevenson are earlier than that. But if they are prepared to respect him to the level that they do, it doesn't need us to tell you how good he's been.